Here we go, the countdown to the DNC in Chicago. But today, Illinois Democrats weren't in Chicago. They gathered for the state fair in Springfield.
While nationally, the Republican presidential ticket held events in 2 battleground states. Political reporter Marianne Ahern joins us here in the studio. What was the Democratic message ahead of the convention?
Well, they are excited, as you can imagine. It is called Governor's Day at the State Fair, and you can sense the difference in the mood since President Biden is no longer leading the ticket, and what to expect at next week's DNC with Kamala Harris as the nominee.
You're going to hear an economic message that's going to make life more affordable for people, lowering costs, right? We're lowering prescription drugs. That is what Kamala Harris is trying to do, lower prescription drugs, raise the minimum wage. She's going to fight to create jobs the way that her boss, her current boss, Joe Biden, has already done.
This is not just about Kamala Harris being a woman or a black woman or a South Asian woman. This is about her being the most qualified person to be president of the United States and the one who can beat Donald Trump.
The rally in Springfield at the State Fair, a mini pep rally ahead of the DNC, and here in the city, evidence of a big event about to take place. There's additional fencing going up around Martin Luther King Drive, festive bunting at hotels, as well as even new flags flying over the Michigan Avenue. How
there
about
we go.
that?
The city getting ready, prepared, trying to look its best. All the delegates coming in town. Let's talk about the Republicans because they've been very busy in swing states today trying to get support in those places.
Absolutely. We saw J.D. Vance in Michigan, Donald Trump in North Carolina, with polls showing Harris improving in swing states. Vance is arguing that Harris has been the, quote, acting president under Biden. The Republicans, they're also questioning the Democrats' decision to replace Biden with Harris without any voters casting primary ballots. After voting early today in the Florida primary, Trump was asked about his remarks that are not true, that said photos of the crowd size at Harris rallies were created by AI.
I can't say what was there, who was there. I can only tell you about ours. We have the biggest crowds ever in the history of politics. We have crowds that nobody's ever seen before, and we continue to have that. We have a level of enthusiasm that nobody's seen before. They want to make America great again. That's what's happening.
You have got to stand before the American people and answer tough questions if you want to do this job. And it is scandalous that Kamala Harris is running from the media, but more importantly, she's running from the American people. That's a disgrace.
Both Trump and Vance also note that Harris has not yet conducted a lengthy interview since Biden left the race. Now back to the State Fair. Today was the Democrats, tomorrow Republican Day, so we will have highlights from the fair tomorrow.
Always politics involved with the fair, too.
And a butter cow.
Yeah,
And the butter cow.
Right, corn dogs. Yeah, what the heck.
Thank you,
All right,
Marianne.
thank you so much. We have your seat inside the DNC in Chicago. You can watch a live, uninterrupted feed of convention speeches starting at 5:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And you'll be able to watch that. It's available on our NBC5 Chicago News streaming channel and on your favorite streaming provider.
We are 5 days away from the start of the Democratic National Convention, but problems continue over protests. Today, it's the Chicago Fire Department. They want to protest not having a contract with the city, an issue that's been going on for 3 years. But the city told them no. VWEN reports on how they still plan to get their message across.
The Chicago Firefighters Union Local 2 put up these new billboards just down the street from the United Center ahead of the Democratic National Convention to get their message across.
It needs to be said. It needs to get done. I just want the city to sit down with us and negotiate. It's been over 3 years.
The billboards seen here near Madison and Ogden show a running count of how many days the union says firefighters have been working without a contract. The union is pushing for several key issues, including the need to hire more paramedics and to add more ambulances, 20 to its current fleet of 80.
It's for ambulances, it's dire. Every day they're looking for ambulances. Our ambulances run night and day. If you go to the west side, some of those ambulances are out all day long. They do 25, 26, 27, 28 runs a day. You just can't do that.
Cleary says the union wanted to protest during the DNC, but their requests for permits were denied twice by the city, citing proximity and manpower. They're now looking at other ways to amplify their message.
We also have a mobile billboard that will be driving around the city of Chicago during the entire DNC. and we've rented 2 fire engines, and we're going to put banners on those fire engines and drive them around the city as well.
A city spokesperson could not go into details about contract negotiations, but told NBC5 in a statement in part, quote, Mayor Johnson is a strong supporter of the first responders who put their lives on the line every day to protect the residents of Chicago. The Johnson administration continues to negotiate in good faith with the goal of settling a fair contract for our city's firefighters. The union is still planning to hold some type of demonstration next week. As for negotiations, they will meet with the city next month to try to reach an agreement. Reporting from the United Center, V1 NBC5 News.
So here we go, 5 days until the DNC arrives here in Chicago, and today people who live near the United Center say they're confused about where to park. Signs and barricades are going up in places and at times they did not expect. NBC5's Kai Martin shows us the disruption.
We're here on Washington, west of Damon. We're actually northwest of the United Center security perimeter, outside that fencing, but inside the tow zone. In fact, see that black car behind me? It's not going to be here much longer. It will be towed away by the city. The towing started at around 8 this morning. We saw just a few city crews out because most people around here, they saw the no parking signs within the last 2 days or so and moved. If you've ever had the awful experience of getting towed in Chicago, it's at least $300 to get your car back. CDOT says outreach and signs, they were up to snuff. But with the tow zones enforced now through next Sunday, August 25th, that doesn't change the disruption to people's lives.
It's like they're putting us in prison all in the sake of a Democratic convention. We're on the outside of this. Like, we're not in there. We don't know what goes on in there. And I'm sure they got Secret Service that can protect them, whatever. But what about us? Like, they don't care?
A little frustrating, but I mean, what are we going to do? You know, so we're just trying to get, you know, follow the rules. We don't want to have to pay any extra money for the cars to be towed. I don't know if everyone knew about the parking restrictions were going to be so, I mean, because we can't even park down the street for like 3 blocks.
Renters tell us they wish landlords had solutions for them, like alternate lots or options if tenants need to park 2 cars for the next 10 days. The general feeling among neighbors is the VIPs are taking over. They feel like David and Goliath is the DNC. Reporting from Damon in Washington, Kai Martin, NBC5 News.
All right, thank you, Kai.
We're counting down to the Democratic National Convention, and the city of Chicago is preparing, but there will be some disruptions for other events happening around the city.
NBC5's Lisa Chavarria joins us now from the Control Center to explain. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning, Evrod and Michelle. Well, parking is becoming near impossible all around the United Center and McCormick Place. And getting around those venues, well, it's only going to be getting worse. When it comes to safety, Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling says there are no credible threats to the Democratic National Convention. Illinois State Police tell NBC News this will be its largest deployment of state police for a single major event in history. Their focus is going to be on the motorcade of dignitaries and elected officials. Although CPD would not confirm just how many officers will be out for the DNC, the superintendent explains what things will look like.
What you will see a heavy presence of officers across the city, not just around the venue of the DNC, but you're going to see a heavy presence of officers across the entire city.
Getting around the United Center and McCormick Place, it is only becoming more difficult. And that's why the Chicago Sky is telling its fans to take the Metra to come to tonight's game at Wintrust Arena. The Bears have a preseason game at Soldier Field on Saturday afternoon. Over there, you can expect to see heavier traffic as the street closures in that area start to go into effect tomorrow night. There are several DNC events happening today. The podium at the United Center is being revealed this afternoon, and DNC volunteers will be celebrated at a rally tonight at Wrigley Field. Michelle.
Lisa, thank you very much.